This is the country where the world's tallest waterfall falls from a mountain older than almost all life on Earth. Before kingdoms existed, before dinosaurs walked the earth, before history had a name. This is Venezuela, a land where 1.8 billion-year-old rock rises above the rainforest, where Angel Falls plunges 3,212 feet, disappearing into mist before it reaches the ground, where lightning ignites the skies above Lake Maracaibo more than 160 nights every year, and the mighty Orinoco River carries enough fresh water to stain the Atlantic for miles offshore. Most people think of a crisis when they hear Venezuela. The landscape has never been listening. From ancient tepuis hidden in the clouds to flooded plains, shifting Caribbean dunes, and mountains crowded with millions of lives, this country refuses to fit a single story. Today, we're leaving the headlines behind and discovering the Venezuela that has been here all along. The tepui, the journey begins where time itself seems to stand still. In the far southeast of Venezuela, where Brazil and Guyana meet, enormous flat-topped mountains rise straight from the rainforest. These are the tepuis ancient sandstone plateaus formed nearly 1.8 billion years ago, long before complex life existed on Earth. More than 100 of them stand across the Grand Sabana, their vertical cliffs plunging nearly 3,000 feet into forests threaded with dark rivers and sudden waterfalls. The indigenous Pem people call them the houses of the gods, and standing beneath them, it is easy to understand why. Isolated for millions of years, each summit became its own world, home to carnivorous plants and rare species found nowhere else on Earth. Mount Roraima, the largest of them all, inspired Arthur Conan Doyle's The Lost World. Yet reality proved even stranger than fiction. The tepuis have remained almost unchanged for billions of years. But ahead, Venezuela reveals a landscape that never stops changing. A desert where the wind redraws the earth every single day. The Llanos de Coro, leaving the ancient tepuis behind, the landscape transforms once again. The forests disappear, the rivers fade. And where no desert should exist, endless waves of sand begin to rise beneath the Caribbean sun. This is Los Llanos de Coro, the only true desert in northern South America. Covering nearly 350 square miles, its pale dunes climb as high as 130 feet, sculpted day and night by the steady northeast trade winds. By afternoon, the sand can reach temperatures above 40 degrees Celsius, and almost nothing grows across its shifting surface. Unlike the tepuis, nothing here stays still. The dunes migrate with the seasons, burying roads, fence posts, and landmarks before slowly uncovering them again. Less than 50 kilometers from the Caribbean Sea and beside the colonial city of Coro, this desert feels wonderfully out of place. Venezuela is not one landscape. There are many. Ancient stone, moving sand, tropical coastline. And beyond them all, water begins to fall. Not from a cliff, from the edge of a mountain so high that the waterfall disappears into mist before it ever reaches the ground. Angel Falls, from the shifting sands of Coro, the journey returns to the ancient heart of Venezuela. High above the rainforest, on the edge of Auin Tepui, water suddenly leaves the earth. There is no river below it, only open air. This is Angel Falls, or Kerapacape Meru, as the Pen people have called it for generations. From the summit of the tepui, the water plunges 3,212 feet, making it the tallest waterfall on Earth. Named internationally after American pilot Jimmy Angel, who landed atop the mountain in 1937, the falls had already been part of Pem tradition for centuries. During the rainy season, a brilliant white column pours from the plateau, visible for kilometers before its thunder reaches the forest below. In the dry months, the drop is so immense that much of the water dissolves into mist before touching the ground. Gravity alone cannot keep it together. Every drop eventually gathers in the Churn River, flowing into the tannin, dark waters of Canaima Lagoon. But the journey of the water is only beginning. Ahead lies a river so vast that it drains most of Venezuela and quietly connects two of South America's greatest river systems. The Orinoco, the water leaves Angel Falls. But its journey is far from over. It gathers into streams, then rivers, until everything begins flowing toward one of South America's greatest waterways. The Orinoco, stretching more than 1,300 miles, it drains nearly 65% of Venezuela, collecting water from almost every major river before carrying it toward the Atlantic Ocean. Yet its greatest wonder isn't its size. It's where it chooses to go. Deep within the rainforest, the Cassiquiare Canal branches naturally from the upper Orinoco and flows south into the Rio Negro, creating the world's largest natural canal and permanently linking the Orinoco and Amazon river systems. A canoe can travel between both basins without ever leaving fresh water. Every year, the Orinoco carries an estimated 1.1 trillion cubic feet of water to the sea, spreading into a vast delta where hundreds of channels weave through mangrove forests. Here, the Warao people, known as the people of the canoe, have lived for generations without roads, building their lives entirely upon the water. But beyond the delta, the rivers suddenly disappear, and an ocean of grass begins. Los Llanos, leaving the rivers behind, the landscape opens once again. The forests begin to fade. The horizon stretches farther and farther until the sky feels larger than the land itself. This is Los Llanos, a vast tropical savanna covering nearly 1/3 of Venezuela. During the rainy season, much of it disappears beneath several feet of water, transforming endless grasslands into a shallow inland sea. But when the dry months arrive, the floodwaters slowly retreat, revealing a completely different world. And with the water, the wildlife appears. Capybaras gather along shrinking pools. Spectacled caimans line the muddy banks by the hundreds. Anacondas slip silently through the shallows, while scarlet ibis, jabiru storks, and countless other birds fill the sky with flashes of red and white. The Llanos doesn't create wildlife. It reveals it. Here lives the capybara, the world's largest rodent, growing up to 4 feet long and weighing 150 pounds. Living in family groups beside rivers and wetlands, they quietly sustain the entire ecosystem. Because wherever capybaras gather, the jaguar is never far behind. And farther west, another force of nature begins to dominate the sky itself. Not rain, not wind, but lightning. Lake Maracaibo, from the flooded plains of Los Llanos, the journey turns northwest, where another landscape begins to shape the sky itself. At first, it looks peaceful. A vast body of water stretching toward the horizon, connected to the Caribbean by a narrow strait and crossed by the 5-mile Rafael Urdaneta Bridge, one of the longest concrete bridges in the world. This is Lake Maracaibo, the largest lake in South America, formed more than 36 million years ago. But its greatest spectacle begins after sunset. As warm, humid air rises from the lake and collides with cool winds descending from the Andes, the sky erupts into the extraordinary phenomenon known as Catatumbo Lightning. These electrical storms can occur on more than 160 nights each year, producing dozens of lightning strikes every minute and illuminating the clouds in almost continuous flashes. For centuries, sailors used the glowing horizon as a natural lighthouse, visible from nearly 250 miles away across the Caribbean. The lightning is not a mystery. It is geography performing exactly as nature designed it. South of the lake, the land begins to rise. The tropical lowlands gradually surrender to the Venezuelan Andes, where forests thin into mist-covered grasslands and a remarkably high-altitude world quietly unfolds. The storms remain below. The mountains are waiting above. The Andes and the Paramo, leaving the storms of Lake Maracaibo behind, the road begins to climb once more. The air grows cooler. The forests become thinner. Before long, the trees disappear altogether, giving way to one of South America's most extraordinary high-altitude landscapes. This is the Paramo. High above 10,000 feet, the Venezuelan Andes are covered with mist, windswept grasslands, and the remarkable frail Jones plants that grow only about 1 centimeter each year, wrapped in soft silver-green leaves that capture moisture directly from the clouds. Some live for centuries, quietly feeding the rivers that begin in these mountains. Higher still rises Pico Bolívar, Venezuela's highest peak at 16,332 feet, overlooking the university city of Mérida, where fertile valleys and cloud forests spread beneath the mountains. But the landscape tells another story. On nearby Pico Humboldt, Venezuela's last remaining glacier slowly disappeared after decades of retreat. In 2024, it was officially reclassified as an ice field, making Venezuela the first Andean nation to lose all of its glaciers. The ice has vanished. The mountains remain. The frail Jones continue gathering water from the clouds, and the rivers continue flowing toward the valleys below, reminding us that nature never truly stands still. And as the Andes descend toward the Caribbean, another surprise begins to emerge. Not forests, not mountains, but hundreds of coral islands are surrounded by some of the clearest water anywhere on Earth. Los Roques and Morrocoy, the mountains slowly fall away. The cool air gives way to warm sea breezes, and before long, the Caribbean stretches endlessly toward the horizon, revealing another Venezuela that feels almost impossible to place beside everything we've already seen. This is Los Roques, an archipelago of nearly 350 islands, cays, and sandbars, floating about 80 miles north of the mainland. Protected as a national park since 1972, it is the largest marine protected area in the Caribbean. Here, the water is so remarkably clear that the seabed can remain visible at depths of more than 200 feet, while coral reefs shelter lagoons glowing in every shade of turquoise and blue. Life moves slowly here. Fewer than 2,000 people live on Gran Roque, the only island with an airstrip. Beyond it, most islands remain untouched, just white sand, nesting seabirds, and fishing boats drifting quietly across the reefs. Healthy coral still supports green sea turtles, nurse sharks, and colorful parrotfish, offering a glimpse of a Caribbean that many places have already lost. Farther west lies Morrocoy National Park, where mangrove forests, coral cays, and calm lagoons stretch along the coast. Once one of Venezuela's favorite weekend escapes, its docks have weathered, and its visitor numbers have fallen. But the sea never noticed. The water is still the same brilliant blue. The reefs are still alive, and beyond this peaceful coastline rises a city built where almost no city should exist. A capital squeezed between mountains and the Caribbean, with nowhere to grow except upward. Caracas, leaving the quiet Caribbean behind, the journey turns inland one final time. The road climbs through the Cordillera de la Costa, crosses the mountains, and suddenly a city appears, filling an impossibly narrow valley between green peaks. This is Caracas. Founded in 1567, Venezuela's capital sits nearly 3,000 feet above sea level, only a few miles from the Caribbean. Yet the mountains standing between the city and the coast shaped everything that followed. With a valley barely 15 miles long and 2 miles wide, Caracas had almost nowhere to expand. So it grew upward. Glass towers from the oil boom stand beside colonial streets, while wide highways weave through one of South America's most densely built capitals. Above them, The hillsides are covered with barrios, self-built neighborhoods, climbing slopes too steep for conventional development and home to nearly half of the metropolitan population. From a distance, they appear chaotic. Up close, they reveal something different. Families, small businesses, schools, communities that have adapted to the landscape rather than waiting for the landscape to adapt to them. Watching over everything is Canaima National Park, its forested peaks rising more than 9,000 feet above the city. It is both Caracas's greatest barrier and its greatest escape, the mountain that prevented the city from reaching the sea, while giving millions of people a horizon they can never lose. And beyond those mountains, another surprise is waiting. A village that looks as though it belongs in the heart of Germany rather than the tropics of northern South America. Colonia Tovar. The journey ends where expectation disappears completely. Just an hour from Caracas, the road climbs into the cool mountain air, winding through forests until a village appears that seems to have taken a wrong turn across the Atlantic. This is Colonia Tovar. Founded in 1843 by settlers from the Kaiserstuhl region of Germany, it still looks remarkably European. Half-timbered houses stand beneath steep pitched roofs built for snow that has never fallen here. Wooden balconies overflow with flowers. A church modeled after one in Baden overlooks quiet streets where the mountain air rarely rises above 20 degrees Celsius. It feels wonderfully out of place, yet somehow perfectly at home. For generations, the settlers have preserved their language, architecture, farming traditions, and cuisine, gradually blending them into Venezuelan life without losing what makes them unique. Today, visitors come for fresh strawberries, German-style sausages, homemade beer, and the cool climate that feels a world away from the tropical coast only 60 kilometers away. Perhaps no place better captures Venezuela's greatest surprise. A German mountain village, a Caribbean coastline, the world's tallest waterfall, ancient tepui, flooded savannas, lightning that returns to the same lake night after night. These are not separate countries. They are all Venezuelans. A land where every landscape tells a different story, yet together they reveal one extraordinary truth. Long after today's headlines have faded, the mountains will still rise, the rivers will still flow, and the landscape will continue telling the story it has been writing for nearly 2 billion years. The journey began with a question: what remains beneath the headlines? The answer was never hidden. It was waiting in the landscape. The 1.8 billion-year-old tepuis still rise above the rainforest. Angel Falls still disappears into mist before reaching the ground. The Orinoco still carries its waters to the Atlantic. Catatumbo Lightning still illuminates the skies over Lake Maracaibo more than 160 nights each year. The headlines change. The geography does not. Perhaps that is Venezuela's greatest lesson. Politics belongs to moments. Nature belongs to millennia. And when everything else is stripped away, what remains is the land and the people who have always learned to live with it. As the sun sets behind Elvila, Venezuela reminds us of something easy to forget. Headlines may change, but the tepuis still stand. Angel Falls still falls. Lake Maracaibo still lights the night, and the Orinoco still finds its way to the sea. If this journey changed the way you see Venezuela, subscribe and continue exploring the world's most extraordinary places with us. And tell us in the comments which part of Venezuela surprised you the most. Until our next adventure.